Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Well, this is our fiscal year finance meeting, and we're gonna call this meeting to order. I'm the chairperson, Tyrone Rogers from the 6th Ward, at 6:05.
Yeah, let's do it.
Anybody else, just feel free to jump in.
According to our agenda, we will be at Pledge of Allegiance. And
First, you gotta call a meeting to
yeah,
order.
call the Lord. I thought you did, but go ahead.
No, I acknowledge I'm here, but nobody else has.
Oh,
Alderwoman Smith, third ward.
Alderman, Alderman, 5th Ward Alderman, Dominique Rondell.
Thank you all for that. See that? See that agenda? We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of discussion this evening will be making appropriations for a corporate purpose for the city of Harvey fiscal year beginning May 1, 2024 and ending April 30th, 2025. I'm gonna turn that discussion over to you, Mr. Williams.
Good evening, Alderwoman, Hubbard. Basically, the budget we're presenting here is the budget that, overall, the budget shows a surplus of $1,141,886. There's a surplus across all funds. The fund that we pay particular attention to, obviously, is the general fund. And on that fund, we're projecting a deficit of $367,000 for that budget fund, which is down quite a bit over the previous year when we had a planned deficit of $3 million. The main impetus driving that decrease in the budget is increased real estate tax collection because a number of TIFs have expired. And for some reason, some folks have just decided to start paying their taxes on a concurrent basis. So we actually collected thus far in the fiscal year, we're on the clip of about an 8% increase in real estate taxes. And that generally accounts for everything. In addition to that, building permit applications are up. So those two items there are basically what are reducing our deficit. We do have challenges, though, obviously, with any Rust Belt city like Harvey, and that is our cost of public safety continues to rise, continue to have to increase salaries in order to remain competitive with surrounding communities in terms of what's going on. The good thing about the police pension, the police department, we have reduced the pension expense liability because of all the money we paid them over the last 5 years. So to that extent, there really aren't a lot of changes in the overall budget other than that from the previous year. Expenses basically remained flat, and we wiped out the deficit, like I said, with increased real estate tax collection and increase in building permits.
And Mr. Lewis, we considered, I'm gonna say we, the city of Harvey, we considered current with the police pension now.
Yes, we are. As a matter of fact, the police pension fund is in the top 25% of funded pension plans in the entire state, which is pretty remarkable, puts us ahead of communities that are a lot better shape than us fiscally, and that's like, even like ahead of Evanston and places like that. Our police pension fund is better funded than those.
Chairman, can I be recognized?
Yes, please.
'Cause, I would expect more out of our, uh, 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 out of our non-hotel tax, especially considering the casino, I thought we would do better than 100,000.
And we might very well do better. It's actually 200,000. I think you read, we down the line, 200,000 motel tax.
So why aren't we?
It's hard to project. I mean, obviously, if we're able to pick up some of
So
those.
this is just your estimate?
Yeah,
but
and
it
I
could
estimate
be
based
better.
on the previous year. Yeah, that's why I said, those are things like the building permit, we can kind of look at what people are getting permits for and kind of project out where we're gonna be. And obviously, the casino, I mean, I know I read it was doing gangbusters. And if that continues, we should see some increase, because obviously, they haven't opened their hotel. I guess it's not due to open until early next year.
Yeah, 200,000. We should be doing way more than that.
That's just the hotel tax, that's only 3% of the rooms. Which, if we talk about what we collected in previous years, if we talk about,
That's what I'm looking at. But now we got a whole big old hotel over there. We don't get no share of that?
no, you know, that's not hard. Yeah,
But I thought we were sharing that.
actually, we had previously budgeted, we did budget an increase on that, because we had previously, projected, we were gonna do about 160,000 on that, but already this year we're on there. We've actually increased the, oversight for those hotels to make sure that they're paying the taxes, but we don't get any part of the new hotels.
So, we haven't took it up yet, but, and this is kind of outside of what we're here for. But what about the low cost for our tobacco license? I think the finance committee should take it up, and we need to meet what the other cities are doing.
Yeah, I know the mayor had talked about that, and I know Corinne had started looking at some of the fees in terms of doing it, because we knew that we were very high on it, very low on the tobacco tax. So that's something we can definitely look at to help us
Okay.
offset some of these costs in here. But remember, like, account number 3215, which is our casino revenue, we're projecting it at 1.8, up from 1.6 the previous year. And that's because, remember, we still will get our share of the Rivers Casino.
And what are we doing? We're majority a rental community now at this point. Why are these rental unit inspections so low?
I know that that's one of the things they're working on with the building department, is increased enforcement of that in terms of the rental, and the vacancy. They kind of fell by the wayside. I know they did hire some additional people on that as a part of the code enforcement to begin to increase those revenues.
Okay. All right, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. That's it for me.
Okay. The towing fees, did they increase or decrease for the collection of vehicles being towed?
Actually, in terms of actual collection on the towing fees, actually have gone up.
Okay, and that can be contributed to more,
More enforcement,
okay.
more enforcement of the policies.
Do you know offhand how our police department increased over the years? I remember swearing in about 4 over the past year. Do you know offhand?
No, I couldn't answer that.
Okay, so,
I can't, I will ask Chief Giddings about that though.
but, so what I'm asking is, did the police department salary budget, did it increase?
The only reason, the budget increased, the only reason we haven't really seen an increase is because we've had a tremendous amount of turnover. And that is strictly a matter of our starting salary was at 50, which we raised from 40 to 50. Problem is, you go right next to the Homewood and get that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, and that's just not a Harvey situation. You know, when I go to the
It's all
pension,
around us.
yeah, when I go to the pension board meetings and they were talking about, especially the fire departments and stuff, there's a lot of movement, not just here, but I'm sure you've seen the billboards where they say, move to Florida, the climate's nice and policing is easier. So it's a lot of competition.
What do you think we could do if Harvey took over his own towing? I've been thinking about it.
I don't know enough about it. You know.
All right. Sir, it's on you.
I'm trying to, I went over this a couple of times, but trying to, as far as salaries for the overall, I know we do have bargaining
Yeah,
units.
salaries are up because we have, or as ASME, we just lost on an arbitration with ASME, so salaries did go up about $200,000.
But that is over now. So we're not in litigation with any other unions or anything like
We had the sergeant's issue to resolve and things like that, but all those things are coming
that? Okay. Maybe glad you could join us.
through. The sergeants were brought back, so.
Oh, yeah.
And how does that change the game for us financially? Is that what we're looking at as far as the police salaries?
Yeah, exactly. I said the only saving, not the saving grace, because obviously we like to be at full force. Only thing is the numbers are down, actual numbers are down, the overtime is up.
We just hired a bunch of officers.
In the academy.
Fire.
Yeah, but before that, we hired officers too.
We have, how many do we have in the academy right now?
It should be about 10.
In the academy.
I
So
know.
we-
Okay.
We're paying that.
So we still good?
Yeah. and
I
some-
want more officers on the street.
And some of that's gonna be covered by the federal grant. We have.
Okay, cool.
Grant, so
All right.
that's a good thing on
One of the things that I was looking at was the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. The state pays a portion of that and City of Harvey pays a portion. Did that increase or decrease?
that. Because actually, the IMRF is one of the better funded pension plans. So actually, our assessment, you're right, they take money out of your check and we pay contribution toward it. But IMRF is one of the better funded state pension plans, far better funded.
I totally agree, I love it.
Far better funded than fire or police pension funds, period, or any other state pension fund.
By all means, Alderman.
There's a, item here for rent, $250,000, what is that for?
We rent part of the commuter lot out
We rent
for
what?
the driving school.
One sixty
driving academy.
Driving academy, right now,
We
5-5.
leased that land to them. I think it was one other lease agreement that we
Yeah.
had, but we leased that land, so we get that as revenue. You're in revenues then.
Yeah.
Are we done with the budget? Can we move on to the tax levy?
So, actually, if nobody had any other concerns, yes, we can. I'd like to, make a motion to accept the budget as is. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? None? So we can move on to the tax levy.
Sir, if I can be recognized.
You can be recognized, sir.
Only thing I care about, we ain't raising taxes.
As a matter of fact, I knew that question would get up.
That's all I care about.
Here's the.
I got the
That's the 24
paperwork.
levy, that's the 24 levy,
No increase, right?
and you will see the
None
exact, I
whatsoever.
didn't even have to change the cover letter, $15,587,500 was the levy last year, that is the levy this year.
Okay, that's all I care
Now,
about.
what we don't control here, people have to be very cognizant of this, we don't control the assessed values that the county assigns property.
Yes.
So we can levy the same thing, and the county assesses your property at a high value. That's not anything that Harvey controls. So remember, they just did the reassessment of,
And this is
Fiscal's
why,
office, yeah.
this is why I like the public to be here, because what they need to understand is that there are many taxing bodies. And so when you start complaining about your taxes, just know Harvey didn't go up.
Well,
Even if the mosquito abatement went up, even if Cook County went up,
the school
you need
district.
to, if the school
The bar
districts go
district,
up,
Cook County.
152, 147, District 205,
Right.
just know we did it. So we need to pay attention to that.
I-
But it's only 3 people here.
I will tell you this, this is my 11th tax levy. The only time it's been raised is when we were required by law to raise it for the fire pension plan. But other than that, we have maintained a flat levy, the exact same dollar amount.
Ever since I can remember back in,
What,
from
11?
2019, it's always
11?
been 4.9, yeah.
And I'm talking about the actual dollar amount that we levy. And there will be even a slight reduction. What we don't levy for is for the bonds and pensions that we have. And as you know, the city, you might not remember, the city exchanged bonds last August to bring all the bonds out of default. Those bonds that were not exchanged will be paid off and on December 15th, Monday.
Good.
So the only bonds outstanding would be the 2023 A and Bs. That's only about $30 million. And other than that, the city will be
The
official.
last time we talked about us getting back into the market.
Well,
Do you project when we can get back into the bond market?
that's Ms. Davis's very favorite question.
Yeah.
And I have to talk to the folks who look at this stuff.
All right.
We're hoping we can get back in the bond market. Get back in the bond market and get back in the bond market to be able to do capital improvements around town, not to cover shortfalls and deficits and things like that.
Understood.
So that's the intent.
Now, you might want to explain to Alderman Delaney and myself, you know, what's the benefit in being able to get back into the market?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's no different than, you know, when you have your financial house in order, you want to buy a bigger house and make improvements to the house. The fact that you can go out and borrow money, and again, municipal bonds are generally at a favorable rate because they're not, the interest that the recipients receive on it are tax exempt. So the intent is to get back, being able to get back in the market. We may be 2 years off, if we're lucky, maybe able to do it less time than that, to really begin to invest in the infrastructure and things like that. And like I said, the overall tax collection rate, for the longest has been under 50%. And we've actually moved up this year to about 55% collection, which, you know, you talk about 5%, but 5% is about $2 million more that comes into the kitty. And $2 million, when you think about the total budget minus the pension, the total fire department budget is only about $4.5 million. So if you get $2 million in extra money, I mean, that is substantial.
Yeah.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is what we need. We're talking about what we can really do. If we can take out, let's stop saying bond, let's simplify it. If we can take out a $25 million loan, we can fix our streets, we can tear down way more properties real fast. They just won't let us in the marketplace no more
Right.
because of our credit
Our
rating.
bond rating, yeah.
Yeah, our bond rate.
Well, I
So,
will,
but
I
we
will
can
tell
do
you
so
this
much.
in terms of that, one of the things that is reflected in this budget, here, you'll notice in Fund 80 is capital improvements. We actually are in the process, we have, over $6 million in federal and state grants, which is obviously the 154th Street project that's going on. We have additional grant for street lighting. So we've been able to secure, so a lot of federal grants have been secured.
Yeah.
There's a project for 155th Street
Yeah, I'm aware.
that we're looking at those things, and that's what I said. We want to be able to bond over and issue bonds for the things the feds won't give us. I will tell you this, this building is one of the most inefficient. You know, they say the building built in the 50s and the 60s are more inefficient than the ones that were built in the 20s. So we are going to have to look at our fire department, buildings are falling
Okay.
apart. The police department never should have been built where it's at. We get water in the basement. So being able to combine some bonds with grants and things like that, then look at being able to do a municipal center, I would say, will save us an awful lot of money.
And
You
the
know-
mayor talked to me, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
no,
ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that we make mention that when we all, well, most of us, when we were elected in 2019, we inherited a deficit, $164 million. In this interim that we've been here, we've made a substantial reduction to that
So
deficit.
we paid down bonds, obviously, we retired bonds. We've actually, by the time these bonds are retired, over the last 5 years, we retired probably about $5 million in bonds, which is a big amount when you think about it. But then the overall, I mean, I won't give you a false impression that we out in the woods, because the economy is tough and we don't know what to expect in the next 4 years. But we've gotten a lot of things under control, and we've had to spend a lot of money on things where the spending hadn't occurred. I know all the street lights aren't fixed, because some of the ones, in terms of changing the light in the LED, we found that there was a lot more infrastructure that needed to be done. Wires were cut, control boxes were gutted for the copper and things like that. So those are all things, when people give you a grant to change all the lights to LED, and you start changing light heads, well, that doesn't help put lights on if someone stole the wires or destroyed the control box. So you end up having to go back again to get grants to make those improvements.
Sir, can I be recognized?
By all means,
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it's oftentimes overlooked, but under this administration and ourselves at this table, this council, we brought in the first trade school to the city of Harvey, which is thriving. That was a vacant lot. Now it's producing what we just seen, $200,000 a year. We gotta talk about, as soon as Family Dollar left over there on Halsted, everybody was like, oh, business is leaving. But now it's a medical clinic. Give it time. We're building,
yeah.
but we're often criticized but never celebrated. There's a lot of things that's going on.
While you're on the subject, don't forget the brand new 51-unit apartment building.
Yeah,
right
the
next
apartment
door.
building, the
Yeah.
car wash is up there.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that when they take the stand. So if I can't hold your hand, I'm gonna hold it now and clap for you
Right.
and me
By all means, by
and
all
my
means,
sisters.
by all means.
Let's keep moving Harvey
You
forward.
all should be commended, yes.
I'd like to add, they having Mr. Beaver picking up the garbage.
No,
That was a problem
Yeah.
at one time.
Republic wouldn't get paid. Now,
Exactly. And
like
now
you
Mr.
said,
Beaver getting the garbage picked up.
occasionally they may miss one can, but they don't, it ain't like a whole
Right, a
block
whole
here.
block and blocks,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And I always say, we are not where we would like to be, but we're not where we used to be.
There you go.
That's what I.
We got a lot
it's not
of, we
being
got a lot of
said.
work to do, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
we didn't get in this hole overnight,
Yeah,
okay?
they forgot what we inherited.
We didn't get here overnight. So, that being said, the chair will entertain recommendation to pass the tax levy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Alright,
All opposed, there are none. So we will accept and adopt this tax levy for 24 and 25. Thank you, Mr. Williams. I think we'll open up for public
Public
comment
comment.
now.
let's start with the order, if you don't mind.
Alderman don't have one.
No, him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about, yeah, go ahead.
And
Actually-
public, please, we wanna hear from y'all too.
Yeah, actually, I would like to switch and hear from the public first.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody?
Anybody?
Go ahead.
Anybody?
Okay,
It's Miss Williams, right?
Ladies first?
Watson, okay.
so, I appreciate this conversation, and it does sound like things are moving in the right direction.
Thank
I
you.
have a couple of questions. Okay, if this is, the levy discussion on the ordinances, I should say, for the corporate purposes and for the levying of taxes, if this is for the fiscal year starting May 1st, 24 to April 30th, 25, why is it just being approved now? Why wasn't it approved at the beginning or prior to the fiscal year? Why are you discussing this current fiscal year now as opposed to back then?
Sheriff, if I can.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can make a question, so I would be interested.
No, you're fine.
You
I'll
know
answer.
what, we don't care,
Yeah.
we're here because
Uh-huh.
we're concerned as citizens about the well-being of our city and what goes on.
Whatever-
So, Co-Chair, if you'd like to
Yeah,
answer a question.
whenever the mayor presents the budget, then that's when we vote on it. So to ask us why now, really, to be honest, you're talking to the wrong people. We can only vote what's
So you
presented
all
to
hadn't
us.
seen the budget prior to now?
No,
Oh, I didn't know that. And see, this is one of the things we're not kept abreast of what's going on.
But your question was about the levy. Why are we just?
No, it was about the discussion of the ordinances for the
Okay,
levy
okay.
and the
Because
appropriation.
the tax levy says tax levy for 24, because taxes for 24 are levied in 25.
Right, okay.
So that's why it's kind of a cross, even though we're in fiscal 25,
Mm-hmm.
we're actually levying taxes for calendar year 24, which will be
Right,
levied
for-
in calendar year 25.
Right, right. And I had one other question. I was trying to take notes on my notes. So it's good that there won't be a raise in our tax levy from
never.
the city.
As long as I sit in this seat, we'll never raise taxes.
What we levy, but again, as he mentioned,
assessments,
there are
yeah.
12 other taxing bodies
Mhm.
that on your tax bill, and also,
Just-
if your assessed value goes up, your taxes could go up.
Just
And it
to,
is a
just,
responsibility.
just to add to that, a few months ago, Mayor Clark had a press conference right here at City Hall. And what he wanted to do is adopt a reduction, relinquish all property tax for residents and commercial business owners for fiscal year 2025. The city of Harvey would be the first and only city in the state of Illinois to do something to that magnitude. Now, a lot of people say, well, are you telling me, Alderman, that I won't have to pay taxes? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the school district,
Take that seat.
the park district, the library board, the mosquito abatement,
Right,
they're
right.
still
All
gonna be
those,
taxed.
yeah.
But the city of Harvey will not.
Okay.
So my initial question was, Mayor, how do we keep our resources going?
Right.
Police department, fire department, water department, streets and sand. I was told that we didn't have to be of much concern about that because we had a kitty, I guess a savings, from motor fuel and things of that sort. So this is how we're able to do that. We can stop the bleeding for 1 year. If it's successful, we can try to go over to 2026 with the same thing. We got to see how it's gonna work out in 2025 though first. And one of the initiatives is to try to get other municipalities to get on board with what Harvey's doing. If that was to occur, now we've sent a message to Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi that, hey, South Suburban Cook County cannot be ignored anymore. So every 3 years when they make that assessment, okay, they won't just automatically raise property taxes here in South Cook County. We want to know. We've had ours this year, and it hit everybody pretty hard. They're going to the city of Chicago for the next 3 years. So it'll be a while back, they got to hit the northern suburbs before they get back here. But that's one of the initiatives that I feel very strongly about and I'm very proud of.
Okay, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be really a wonderful morale booster, I think, for the city, for the residents.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they're putting legislation together in the mayor's office so we can have that to vote on, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do remember my other question, you were talking about the bonds and some that have been paid and some that are going to be paid. I think I have a date of 12/15. So what is the dollar amount for the ones that will be paid on the 15th?
Approximately $1.25 million,
Oh,
which are the last of the 207 bonds.
oh, okay. Okay, and then there's an additional 30 million,
It's
In
still
bonds.
outstanding. Yeah, it's still outstanding.
and those expire when?
Those
For varying
quite a while,
dates.
yeah, they variations,
Okay.
they retire over the next 30 years
Okay,
in
okay.
increments.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off of what she said, those bonds. That number you gave, is that the amount that's delinquent, or is that the amount plus the interest tacked on top of
There
it?
are no delinquent bonds. The
No,
last of the
I'm not
bonds.
saying that they're still delinquent. I'm saying the number that you gave, is that the number for the interest on top of the delinquent bonds
No, that's
that
the
have been
total.
refinanced?
That's the total
It's
amount of the
$43
bonds.
million?
That's the total of the bonds outstanding.
Any other comments?
Who's going to enforce the forced audit for Harvey since Harvey's a few years
Can you
behind?
move up?
Can
I
you come up
barely
so
hear.
we can hear you?
Come on.
Oh, I would, except they put up this illegal.
Man, come up.
thing
You good.
saying
Come
no
up.
allowed.
Come up. Come
You
up.
sure? 'Cause I was
Come
told
on.
I would be
Come
escorted
on.
out by police.
Ryan, come up. Let's go.
Okay, well, I have your insurance on video.
Yeah, you
I
fine. Come
am
on.
asking the city
We
about
can
it.
barely hear you back there. What's up?
Yeah, I can barely hear you either, so I don't know why they did that. So my question would be, who's doing the forced audit for the city, since the city is far behind on its audits?
Forced
Who is
audits?
selected? Yes, the state of Illinois
No-
wrote
no
the city of
firm.
Harvey.
That's a good question for him. No, I told him to come up.
I told him.
Okay.
I
I
told
told
him
him
to
you
come
threatened to
You
remove me.
can't, don't do
It's
it.
my meeting.
We received no notice.
Let's
from-
go.
Ryan,
Mr.
just go back.
Mr. Williams,
I
can you
don't care
answer
either
this
way.
man's
I'm just telling
question?
you what they told me.
I know. Just
We
go.
haven't.
All our videos, by the way, is on Facebook, on YouTube, so you really don't need to do that. But go ahead.
We received no notice from the state of a firm being assigned.
Oh, okay, so you're still waiting.
They have as much trouble as we will have. Believe me, we're not avoiding having audits done.
Oh, okay,
It's
so
finding
no.
a firm that can do it. And the state's going from the same pool of folks we're going from, so we received no notice.
Okay, so no.
But
firm
we
ID.
do have an engagement letter from John Kasparic, who did the last audit, to start the audit in February. And we anticipate that's the audit that will be done.
Okay, understood.
Mr. Ryan, I won't disrespect the mayor's wishes, so I apologize. Yes, can you
Yeah, I
go
mean,
back to
this-
the
this
media
whole
area?
thing is
I wish you could just put the
ridiculous
phone
and
down. I'm telling you, it's on YouTube anyway, but go ahead.
Let him video if he wants to.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think about this?
What else you need?
It's the same thing they had to do.
All right.
I just have one more question.
Hold on. he's
Go
talking.
ahead, sir.
How much annually are we paying in bonds? I know they're usually once a year, twice a year. How are they set up now?
Bonds are paid out twice a year.
Okay, and how much are we paying a year?
The interest is due, and about $1.4 million.
$1.4 million in interest. And that's for one bond, or is that for
That's
all
for the
bonds?
2023 A and Bs, both series of bonds.
And that's combined together, 1.4 million?
Yes.
Okay.
Will a copy of this budget be
We,
available?
we prefer to have a structured meeting, so
Oh,
when
I'm
you have
sorry.
your opportunity to, please try to have your questions, so we don't want to keep going back and forth.
I don't know
Okay,
what happened.
anybody else in the audience has
I had to shoot
question?
down,
Anybody? Alderman, you say you wanted to wait for,
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, well, all right.
All right, I just want to say, thanks, Paul, for, being recognized. I appreciate the work that's being done in the city. We are moving forward in good directions. I think we need to be a little bit more vocal on the things that we're doing instead of waiting until we're accused of something to bring up what we're doing and having to explain it more. I think we should make it more notable so we won't put ourselves in that situation. But just a few things. When it comes to public safety, the amount has increased. Okay, so does that mean that we didn't hire more police, fire, street department, or is this because of losses from lawsuits? You know, is this the reason why it increased, or do we have more employees?
Who are you asking, sir?
Whoever can answer.
I think it's a combination of both. Yes, we've had lawsuits, but also, as you know, we've hired more police. So it's a combination of both.
Okay, so is it a way, what about, do we keep track of lawsuits that we're having that's pending? Is it due to the representation that we get in the cases? Or was it a situation where it was passed through council and then we had end up being sued or sent to court for that to find out what was the situation?
Unless
how we
you didn't
lost
have the
the
opportunity to be
money.
present, but I think when we go back there in that room, we talk about a lot of things when we're being sued.
Mhm.
And so that's reflected. But nothing that we're being sued for reflects our police officers today. A lot of cases that we're selling are prior to this administration.
Okay.
And so I hope you remember that.
Yes, I do. One thing that I do remember us voting through council to pass the ordinance to demote officers from sergeants to patrol. And now we had to go to court, in which is a suit that we lost.
Mhm.
So that was a loss that we had making the decisions that put us in a situation that now we have to have an increase on public safety expenses because we have to spend and pay this money back.
That is
That's
not.
what I was asking. That's why I'm asking for clarification.
now I want to interject. It wasn't that the officers were demoted from sergeants to patrolmen. It's that the city of Harvey was making an attempt to be more cost efficient by eliminating civil service. When most municipalities, you cannot eliminate civil service. That's why the officers were recalled and made back whole. If that answers your question.
Well, yeah, well, if it's answering my question, as long as the clarification that I just want to understand, it's like because of this and due to this, we have to pay back this money. So those are like losses that the city are taking on the fact that.
Yes, sir, Alderman, but that
Yeah.
doesn't reflect the increase. The real increase is from us hiring more and from us having to pay pensions funds and all the things that come into it. That's really where the money's at.
Okay, well, like I said, in the future, when we do have these situations and those coming around.
Mr. Williams, am I wrong? Am I speaking out of pocket?
It's a combination of all, but
Yeah.
as long as you have employees, there are gonna be labor disputes. I mean, I wish I could tell you, in the best of situations, you know, and not only that, just remember, Illinois is it's a good thing, Illinois is a very labor-friendly state.
Okay, well, I got you, and I understand. I just said, well, in the future, maybe we can do a better way of explaining it.
But as far as the lawsuits, you understand,
Things get out of hand.
Harvey's no different from other places. The lawsuits you settle, the dead ones after 5 years.
It's America. You can sue for anything.
That's right, exactly, and we do
Exactly.
everything.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, this is just my last question. It's only one for Mr. Lasky. Water expenses, I see on the budget right here, we already have the budget for the 25,000 that's allocated for the aldermans every year on a yearly basis for the fiscal year. So if you're going through this year, the 2024, and you haven't received any money, the 25,000, shouldn't that be allocated in for next year, instead of just saying 25,000 when some aldermans haven't received any money this year at all?
Should we raise the budget? No, your expenses are counted.
Yeah, but they haven't been received though.
I budget on the accrual basis. when the expenses are incurred and when revenue is received, so, again.
Okay. So, yeah, so.
Thank you for your comments. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday, especially coming out in this cold weather. And
What was that question you had?
we passed that, Ryan. We passed that.
Can you answer her question? She had one more question. She wanted to know when the audit was coming out.
Our slip out there
Is that what you
said
said? You want to
they were
know
supposed
when
to
the
Yeah, I
have
just
a
wanted to know
slip,
when
and they
it
were
would be
supposed to have
available.
their 3 minutes, and never did.
I don't know.
Chair,
Yeah.
Ryan has his hand up. I don't know if you want to recognize him.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Just the second part. Yeah, second part, was, I mean, I know there are some good things that have been going on, which is true. So if that is the case with the city, when are we going to get the bills, list, the invoices, all the financial information, when will that be released to the public, and also to our treasurer? I will note, just for the recording, that the elected treasurer is here as well, and she still does not have access to the city books. So this meeting is all well and good, but you're expecting us to take your word for all these things you're saying. We want to see it on paper. We want to see like receipts. We want to see the date we wrote them, the invoices. So when are we going to finally get that information?
And thank you very much for your statement and your comment. We greatly appreciate it. We're gonna call this meeting,
I just had one more
So,
question.
adjourn the meeting at 6:47. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there are none.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.